See these? God bless the guy who was allowing Nazis and anti-Semitism to perpetrate Twitter. There's been a 66% increase of anti-Semitism on Twitter since Elon Musk set it free.
Hey folks, I'm Tennessee Brando from MeidasTouch. I've got a really good clip here of Jared Moskowitz saying something that I feel we should continue to shout from the rooftops. He says, it's not fair to call all Republicans Nazis, but Nazis sure do seem awful comfortable around Republicans. And that is something that we need to keep drilling home, because they always love to duck and dodge the subject of racism. Anytime we bring it up, they try to say that we're just simply doing it because we're losing an argument. I can tell you that I have never one time in my life called someone a racist because I felt I was losing an argument. I called someone a racist because they said something racist. And I think what Jared Moskowitz says here is brilliant, and I think you need to take a look at it, and then we'll talk more about it.
Let's talk about Twitter. Let's talk about God bless Elon Musk. See these? God bless the guy who was allowing Nazis and anti-Semitism to perpetrate Twitter. There's been a 66% increase of anti-Semitism on Twitter since Elon Musk set it free. Mr. Chairman, I agree with you. It's not fair to say all conservatives are Nazis. That's preposterous. That's not true. But your Lord and Savior Donald Trump is having tea and dinner with them at Mar-a-Lago. Nick Fuentes right here, who's a picture that is tweeted at me all the time saying Jews are a virus in response to my tweets. Donald Trump's having dinner with him. Nazis at Mar-a-Lago. And so, no, not all Republicans are Nazis, but I got to tell you, Nazis seem really comfortable with Donald Trump. So I have questions about that, Mr. Chairman. Why is that? Why do I get these tweets? Let's talk about Kanye West, right? The chairman of the Judiciary Committee for 3 months praising Kanye West. We love Kanye, right? A Nazi. Clearly now. It took months for that tweet to come down. How come? I mean, these are things I'd love to know. Is it because maybe they're your voters? I mean, they certainly aren't voting for me. I yield back.
You know, I feel like one of our darkest times in history is when we allowed someone like Elon Musk to get control of the free speech argument. Freedom of speech has always been a liberal principle. It's always been liberals who stood up for the underdog, who stood up for everyone to have their say and to have their voice heard in this world. But then along comes the likes of Elon Musk, the Republican Party. They once again hijack one of our ideas, bastardize it, and use it against us. They go out of their way to defend homophobes, to defend racists, to defend anti-Semites on Twitter. They say that's freedom of speech. And anytime we try to hold someone accountable for the words that comes out of their mouth, they say we're the communists and it's us that hates free speech. They've completely flipped the script, which is something they have mastered. I have to hand it to them. They have mastered stealing our ideas, bastardizing them, and using them against us. But we have to continue to stand up and talk and continue to shout this stuff from the rooftops. They will always come at us with the same old tired talking points, and we're always going to have to continue to debunk those talking points. How many times has someone said to you, well, the Democrats, man, they're who founded the KKK? And how many times are we going to have to point out that, okay, where do Democrats and the KKK stand today? What party does the KKK feel the most comfortable with today? It is the Republican Party. Who are racist and anti-Semites? Who are they sitting down with and eating with? Like he said, it's their Lord and Savior Donald Trump. Now, if they really didn't have racist viewpoints, and if they really didn't have the anti-Semitic and homophobic viewpoints that they say they don't have, wouldn't they be going out of their way to condemn it? Wouldn't they be, I know I would. I know that if we all went down to a protest and we were all there to make our point, and we looked over and saw a bunch of Nazis and, waving Confederate flags and Nazi flags in our presence, I guarantee you, we here at MeidasTouch will be the first ones to go, I don't know why they're here talking with us. Those people in no way represent us. But Republicans will not do that. All they will shout is, well, you guys called us a racist. And they stop right there. They might go as far as to say, I'm not a racist. Okay, if you're not a racist, call that out. You can't say there's good people on both sides. You can't go down there and stand next to someone carrying a Confederate flag, carrying a Nazi flag, and say that there's good people on both sides. You have to call that out, because if you don't call it out, we're going to. We're going to point it out, and you're going to get mad. But I've had an old saying for years. I've always used this. If you sit in a barbershop long enough, you're going to get a haircut. And if you hang around with Nazis, and you hang around with homophobes, and you hang around with racists, and you hang around with anti-Semites long enough, those ideas are going to rub off on you in some way, shape, or form. And you're going to voice them. And even if you don't hold those same views, you're defending people that have them. You're defending people that have them. You're allowing them to have a bigger platform to get on to say it. Elon Musk could sit back all day and say, I'm not a racist. Then why do you allow racists on your platform to speak that loud? You can call it free speech all day, but you should hold people accountable on your platform for what they say. I promise you that if I went off script here on MeidasTouch, the Marcellus brothers would yank my video. They would probably yank them all and say, we no longer associate with Tennessee Brando because he's now lost his mind. Because that's the kind of people we are. That's how we operate. We will hold our own accountable. We will point out when we have made mistakes. And they continue to defend this and call it free speech. I grew up in the South. And in my lifetime, I know for a fact that I have said racist remarks. I've had it pointed out to me. I've had people say to me, man, you might not have meant to do that, but that had racial undertones and you need to be made aware of it. And when that was said to me, I said, oh, thank you so much for pointing that out. I don't ever want to say that again. I grew up in the 80s in an era when, the Dukes of Hazzard was the most popular TV show on television. The Southern rock bands and the country bands were waving Confederate flags. And back then, I just thought the Confederate flag meant Leonard Skinner. I thought it meant we were supposed to yell Freebird. I didn't understand it. It took me years of learning our history and learning about things to get out from under all of those stereotypes. And I reached a point where I was able to move past all that and put it behind me and turn around and teach my kids that, hey, this is what I was taught about this flag, but it was wrong. The things I was taught were wrong. And I have since learned that it was wrong. And now I want you to understand how it was wrong. And I have no problem with that. I have no problem with saying, hey, I was told a bunch of bullshit about something and I was misinformed. But you'll never hear that come from Republicans. They will always find a way to defend it, and they will sit down and eat with them, and then they will get mad if we point it out. We will be told that we are coming after their freedom of speech if we point out, well, yeah, you're free to say what you want, but you're saying it alongside Nazis. They're speaking on your side, and you should stand up against it. And one last point I want to make, this is one of my biggest pet peeves that comes from that side, is when they stand up and say that that flag is their heritage. Let me tell you something. I have bandanas that's older than the Confederacy, okay? I have bandanas that's older than 5 years old that I still wear, all right? And to call that to say that 5 years in American history is your heritage is a completely misinformed statement to make. That's not a part of your heritage. That is a stain on American history, okay? And if you're going to call that your heritage, if you're going to say this is our heritage, this is our Southern pride, okay, when you show up to a protest and you look over and you see that flag flying alongside of a Nazi flag, I don't know how, I can't even follow it anymore. You guys got so many flags I can't even keep up, but you've got a Confederate flag, a Nazi flag, and over here you got your American flag. Do you not see the problem with that? And if the Southern flag is just your heritage, that's all it is, then why are you standing beside Nazis? That's not your heritage. That's everything your grandfathers fought against in World War II. So why are you allowing, if that flag truly means something to you, and it's just your heritage, and that's all it is, then why are you allowing it to be lumped in with the hate? Why are you allowing it to continue to be used in that manner? I have sat and talked with people in my part of the world about this stuff till I'm blue in the face. Some people get it. And there's a lot of good people here in the South who have learned about our mistakes, who have learned the things that we were told wrong and taught wrong, and they're working to be better. And that's what we're trying to do here, is just simply do better. But there's always going to be those people who are going to hold on to this stuff and defend it to the death just because their granddaddies told them it was okay. And I've always said, I love and respect both my grandfathers, but if they were here today preaching Donald Trump's rhetoric, I wouldn't be agreeing with them. I would be saying, well, I have to break the circle here, Papaw. I have to take the family in a different direction, because that's the kind of people we are. And as long as they continue to sit in that barbershop, they're going to get their hair cut by Nazis. So, folks, be sure and click that subscribe button here on MeidasTouch. We're cruising toward 1 million followers. And also, I want to take a chance to plug the MeidasTouch podcast and the Legal AF podcast. Check both of those out. They're some of the best podcasts out there. I listen to them every morning on the way to work, and I learn so much. And thanks to the Marcellus brothers, because you guys don't realize how much you help me create my content here, because I'm listening and getting pointers from the very best. So be sure to check out those podcasts, click the subscribe button, and keep tuning in here on MeidasTouch, because as long as you do, old Tennessee Brando will keep trying to tell you the truth.
The best part of waking up? MAGA tears in my cup. Check out the new MAGA tears mug, available now at store.MeidasTouch.com. That's store.MeidasTouch.com. It's 100% union made right here in the USA. I know I'm not tired of winning yet. How about you? Get yours today.